सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वं. Yeah, see, those of you who are now present here, even if somebody joins late in this group, most of you have exposure to Gita, Vedanta, etc. Therefore, my approach is to help you to discover a few clues to live what we already know. To live what we already know. Firstly, very important point, all of you have to contemplate on what I am going to say, because I am generalizing and going to make a sweeping statement. But so you have to think over that. All knowledge is removing ignorance, not creating knowledge. Even material knowledges. Everything was there. You didn't know. You were removing ignorance and knowing, even material knowledge. Much more so of spiritual knowledge. So if you have to remove these false opinions, knowledge, concepts, you can only do that through not merely listening, through your own contemplation. Listening, contemplation, then try to live it. Simple terms in English. When you say in Sanskrit, you get conceptualized on that. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You have heard that there is such a thing as spiritual knowledge. You have formed a concept of that already. What is spiritual knowledge? All of you will say, I want moksha, right? I want realization. All of you will say, that's already conceptualized. You can't get moksha ever because it's already your nature. You have confused your own identity and thus found bound by your own misconceptions. To remove these misconceptions is to feel the knowledge that's your real nature. So to help that, I will be giving certain clues. You have to catch them and contemplate on them. Do not expect Gita, I'm going to listen now, first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, Arjuna talking, Krishna talking. It doesn't help much. It helps, but not much. It's a very long process. When you listen to anything, you should listen. What is it that I am going to get today to make my life a better life? You have to wait for such clues. A day you have listened to Gita or any Vedanta class, you have not got a clue to make your life beautiful. That learning is not very good. I won't say useless because nothing is useless, especially knowledge. Especially knowledge. Any knowledge is okay, but you are wasting your precious time. So whenever I talk, you have to see that day, what is it that I got to make my life a better life? What is better life? What is bitter life? Better life is when you experience a greater freedom, a greater happiness, a greater control over external things. This is better life. Greater freedom, greater control over external things, greater happiness, all of them are already in you, covered by your mind. To free yourself from this mind is called moksha. Moksha is just to free yourself from this mind. Mind are all misleading information, concepts, duality, divisions. This is the mind. It never allows you in peace. Even when you are listening, you will be comparing me with somebody else. That is the mind. You are helpless. That's the mind. But you have to know that is the mind and leave it there. You cannot change anything external because they are already programmed. In the language of traditional people, it is destiny. It is destiny. In the practical language, understanding God, God is programmed what you need for your evolution, taking into consideration what you are through your past psyche. Same thing. I'm putting it two different ways. One, you just say destiny. The other is God has programmed your life depending upon what you have molded yourself and further tries to evolve you out of this mess. Both are same, destiny and this is same. But when you take it as destiny, you form a concept. When you understand this way, you take everything positively. There cannot be anything negative in the world because there is only one truth. Very simple logic. All the plurality, the finite world, should have a cause other than the plurality and finite nature. Plurality should have come from a source. How did plurality come? There should have been one before. There should have been one before, and then comes the plurality. If things have come from one, that alone was there, nothing other than that. That means it was there at all times and at all places. You call it infinite. From infinite, you get plurality and the finite world. Can infinite ever become finite? Can infinite ever become finite? You can't have famous example, but uh, it's a good example. You can't have a hot ice cream and cold fire. In nature, nothing changes its own intrinsic dharma or quality. Infinite cannot become finite. Finite cannot become infinite. I am experiencing all plurality. Plurality means even when there is a second thing, it is finite because there is space between number one and number two. So even only two, it's still finite. Only God and you. Both God is finite, you are also finite because there is space in between. Wherever there is space, there are boundaries. Whatever has boundaries are finite. If there is space, there is boundary. Where there is boundary, it is finite. So in the world, no, nothing else, only God and me. Both are finite. Your God is also finite, you are also finite. So Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, first God manifested as death because he is himself finite. When something manifests, it manifests from the previous condition. Death of the previous condition is the birth of the new condition. So therefore, whatever manifests, including God, is death. You can't hit me with stones. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that. Hiranyagarbha is death, he says. Hiranyagarbha is all gods or Hiranyagarbha. Any god is a Hiranyagarbha. They are all finite. They are all finite. Is that possible? Infinite cannot become finite. Therefore, there cannot be you, there cannot be me, there cannot be God. You cannot be there, I cannot be there, God cannot be there because infinite cannot become plurality. Anything when said, you have to see three standards to understand its essence. First, the statement should have been time tested. It should have stood for a long time. That's called Sruti. Heard from generation to generation. It's called Sruti. That's not enough. It should be logical. Both are not enough. It should corroborate with experience. Now Shruti says there was only one and that was infinite. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Ekameva Sat. Advitiyam. All Shruti says. Logics are also given. Just now I gave you the logic that can only be one. Plurality cannot be there. But experience, plurality, you have to explain that. You have to explain the experience. If experience contradicts Shruti and Yukti, that statement cannot be true. So the experience is plurality. How do you see? Several examples you have heard often, but you have to make them your own by contemplation. You have heard all these examples, but you have to make them your own through contemplation. When you are dreaming, dream friend, dream enemy, dream mountains, dream oceans, dream tiger, dream pet dog. You have seen the plurality. You have experienced the plurality. But is that real? It's not real because on verification, it is not there. What is experienced on verification, which is not there, is called mithya, apparent. It's not called unreal because you have experienced. Once you have experienced, how do you call it unreal? Experience is only an appearance at that time. Like in the dream, it was not there before, it will not be there after. While you experience, it is there. And that which is experienced but was not there before and after is called mithya. So your dream you experience, but it is mithya. World of plurality you experience, it's mithya because it is God's dream. All of us are God's dream. All of us are God's dream. You ask God, why did you make such a bad dream? I have to suffer. He asks you, why did you come in my dream? I was sleeping peacefully. Why did you come? It was never there. It was only experienced. That which was not there but experienced is called Maya, Mithya, mind, all synonyms. Maya, Mithya, mind, all synonyms. Right? So infinite alone was there. It appears to be many. When there are many, they are finite. When they are finite, there is insecurity. When there is insecurity, there is death and sorrow. But logically and proved through the examples of dream, I'll give you two more examples after I finish this. Logically proved that it's only apparent, it's not real. That truth alone is there. Then you cannot be different from that. I cannot be different from that. God cannot be different from that. There is only one truth. And all insecurity belongs of the duality, plurality. Since the duality and plurality itself is an appearance, all your imaginations and experience of duality, plurality, sorrows, and death are also perceptions, conceptions, misinformation. Misinformation. If I am hungry, I have to eat something. Knowledge of food in the kitchen or fridge will not appease my hunger. What I don't have, I have to get it. What I don't have, I have to get it. What I have, I have to know it. Some people have the habit of keeping the specs like this and searching everywhere for specs, right? And smart boy in the house asks, "What are you searching, mummy?" "My specs." "See on your head." "Inside there is nothing, but see on your head." The boy says, right? What do you do for that? Nothing to do. Just know and own and keep silent, because you have become you have become you have been humbled by your own child, right? You just keep quiet. Don't do anything. Don't even talk about it. You only have to know and own it. So, infinite God alone is there. It has to be known and owned. What you don't have, you have to get through work, through producing it. Prapyam, utpadyam, utpadyam, producing it. Vikaryam, modifying it, like curd, milk modified into curd and butter. Samskaryam, remove the dirt from gold. Prapyam, go and get from the shop. These are the different ways to gain something what you do not have. What you have, you have to only know. If it is infinite, it is there everywhere, and you are not different from it. You only have to know that you are that infinite. Nothing more to do. What is there in the process of knowing? You are only removing the ignorance that you are not this infinite, you are the finite body, mind, and intellect. You are ignorant of your nature. Consequently, you have misapprehensions about you. Gurudev says beautifully, non-apprehension of reality causes misapprehension of reality. Non-apprehension of reality is called avarana. Misapprehension is called vikshepa. So the knowledge of real and apparent have to be known, detached from the apparent, attached to the real, and do what you have to do in the world. Because knowledge you have known, you are infinite. But the body has to be maintained. You have to produce food and eat. You are agitated too much. You can't meditate. You can't listen to the class. So you have to pray. Therefore, unless finite things are also attended, mere knowledge that I am God cannot stay with you. When you go to sleep, really sleeping, When a man really sleeps, he doesn't care for a air-conditioned room, bed, anything. We have seen people snoring on the banks of Coam. We have also known people, probably we ourselves are examples, with air conditioned, all facilities, we cannot sleep. We need a compose. So what is important is to sleep. When you sleep, you don't need all these. And when you sleep, you do not remember whether you are sleeping on the bed or the floor or on the kuvam. When you are sleeping, you don't remember you are the Raja or a beggar. The happiness there, the peace there is same whether he is a Raja or a beggar, a sick man or a healthy man, an enlightened man or a fool, a sinner or a sage. All are same in sleep. All are same in sleep. Right? But to sleep like that, your mind has to be calm. You have to prepare it. It will be better with a clean room. You have to prepare it. With a good bed, you have to prepare it. With a fan or an AC, you have to prepare it. So also, the external environment, the body, mind, intellect, have to be prepared, fit enough for that experience where there is no action. Action is a means to prepare the instrument properly tuned to discover that real being that you are, which is free from action, which is free from action. So one is called Abhyudaya Phala, progressive results. You know, preparing the mind, earning money to eat, to pay the electricity bills, have a good bed, all Abhyudaya Phala, education, right? Education, job, getting married, producing children, and wanting them to do all the mistakes that you have done, right? When they have found their happy life, you are not satisfied. You want them to go through your life, right? So all these are conditions that prepare the mind to turn inside and find its own essential nature. Mind itself is nothing but consciousness. Consciousness plus an object is mind. Consciousness, when it flows through the senses, falls on the object, it forms a thought. And flow of thoughts is called mind. Flow of thoughts is called mind. So, mind is essentially consciousness associated with an object. So now, consciousness extroverted with an object becomes the mind. It experiences death, sorrow, change, insecurity. To make the mind understand, it is essentially the same consciousness, which is immortal, infinite, blissful. turn its attention to its own source. Consciousness plus object is thought. Now make consciousness for the mind. Object is its own source, consciousness. So what will be there is only pure consciousness. Because the very object becomes the consciousness when it turns its attention to the source. It becomes consciousness. Right? So what have we learned today? I am as I am is perfect, is God, divine, infinite. Because of my ignorance of my real being, I have formed various concepts, misconcepts about me with associations with the external world, like the consciousness, with the association of an object becomes a thought with a name and a form. I also, because of my ignorance of my real being, I assumed me to be an individual with a body, mind, and intellect, and body, mind, intellect being finite or ever insecure, changing. Therefore, they cannot give you anything but death and sorrow. They cannot give you anything but death and sorrow. All that you have to do is detach yourself from the mind, try to see its source and say, this is me, that's not me. This is me, that is not me. This is called meditation. Abhyasa, continuously reminding what you are. Vairagya, detaching from what you are not. This is all spirituality. You will have no freedom ever from experiences. All experiences, all experiences are finite. And therefore, they come in opposites. This minute, joy. Next minute, sorrow. Without sorrow, you won't understand joy. Because in sorrow, you are now saying, I'm happy. They will always come together. And even when you are experiencing joy, please understand two things. That very experience becomes the source of future sorrow. Why? Because you want to repeat it. Agitation is formed. You become dependent on that. Agitation is formed. You become a slave to that joy. So joy itself becomes a womb of future sorrow. Also, even while going through the joy, because your association with BMI, there is always insecurity and fear even when you are going through that joy. So know yourself, be there, but for the journey of this life, you have to use the body, mind, intellect, do what has to be done without trying to connect yourself for the present work to past regrets or future anxieties. Concentrate on the present and do all the work not for gaining anything materially. All work, even our material pursuits, you need quietude, you need to discover godhood. So the entire material pursuit serve this cause. Otherwise, you are putting the cart before the horse. All of us doing that. We use God for all that, not knowing they have to be used for this. You have to pray to God for certain basic things and quietude, because then only you can contemplate. But that is not important. You are lost in that. You are lost in that. This is spirituality, which is called Vedanta. Anta, end. Veda, knowledge. End of all knowledges. That is culmination of all knowledges in perfection is called Vedanta. It is knowledge that gives me various comforts in life, but they are all finite. The knowledge that gives the ultimate, where there is fulfillment, is called Vedanta. The source books of this Vedanta are Upanishads, but they are tears. They are born in the, as Swamiji says, white heat of meditation of rishis. They are subtle. Ordinary man cannot understand. He has no time to go to a guru. Guru has to come to his shop and in the lunchtime talk. I have done that. I have gone to people's office and talked. Right? So Arjuna's time is just entered Kali. Kali means machine age. Right? So Vedavyasa knew now they cannot go to Gurukulas or sets of gurus in Himalayas. Guru has to come to their shop. So Krishna came to the workplace of Arjuna, the battlefield, and gave the same truths as the Upanishads, as a man in the office during lunchtime will understand Gita. You talk Shankara Bhashyam to him at the lunchtime, he will sleep. You have to tell him the way in which he can understand. But whoever speaks is only Bhashya, but you have to change the mold, method. Whoever talks is only Shankara Bhashya, nothing wrong. That's the basis. But you have to change it to the condition of the person who is listening. That is where guru to guru differ. They don't differ in their knowledge. They don't differ in their experience. They differ because their audiences are different. Their audiences are different. Right? So the same truths of the Upanishads have to be given for a busy man, and that was Gita. That was Gita. Upanishads are called Shrutis, heard from master to master. The essence of that remembered and given are called Smriti. Smriti is memory. That's why Sri Shankaracharya we say, Shruti, Smruti, Puranana, Alayam Karunalayam, Namami Bhagavad Pada, Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Right? Shruti and Smruti. The source books for Vedanta are Shruti, Smruti, Puranas, 18 Puranas, Bhagavatam, Varaha Purana, Garuda Purana, etc., etc., and Itihasas, Ramayana, Mahabharata. These are the source books. Right? And therefore, my emphasis is do not go on listening all the time to various commentaries, read various commentaries, and get more and more confused. Try as you listen to live that divine life which is simple. You have two dimensions in you, matter and spirit. You live for matter, you are called an asura. You live the life of spirit, you are called a deva. Continuous fight between the asuras and devas is the Mahabharata war, Pandavas and Kauravas. And in that, a man is neither an asura nor a sura, gets confused. He has not got the right knowledge, but he cannot accept the false knowledge too. There is some dharma in him, some good thoughts because of past samskaras. So he complete material thing he gets disgusted, and he's not ready for the spiritual thing. At that time, crossroads, where he doesn't have a direction, he gets despondent, and that was our hero Arjuna. Our hero Arjuna. Arjuna, for a moment, lost his wisdom and is seeing only everybody as names and forms, the body, mind, intellect. Hence, sees the impending death of all these billions. He was not wrong. Only 7 people were there out of the billions of people. All died. He was not wrong. But he was neither right. Why? We'll come and see later. Because Krishna says, you are not a body with a soul, you are a soul with a body. When you think you are a body with the soul, you will experience only mortality and death. When you know you are a soul with a body, you know your real nature and use the body, mind, intellect, like I use my car, telephone, and laptop, etc. The problem with the car, telephone, laptop, or AC does not make me collapse because I know who I am. So, with this knowledge, go through the world, keep this knowledge, go through the world of experiences, fight the battle of life. This is Mahabharata war. Fight the battle of life. Right? And in fighting, Duryodhana fought blind, no values, nothing, only greed, fighting. Arjuna wanted to fight, confusion was there, cleared, then he said, I am willing to do whatever you say. One person who has never any confusion, always victorious, because he had full faith in God and gurus and others. Bhima, Hanumanji never had any problem in Ramayana Yuddha and Mahabharata Yuddha. These 2 people never had any problem because they had simple, illicit faith. Simple faith. Right? Innocent faith, not illicit. Innocent faith. Right? Simple, innocent faith. So, even in fighting the battle, you can be a Duryodhana, you can be a Bhima, you can be an Arjuna. When you are an Arjuna, seek guidance from who knows it. And then correct yourself and fight the battle of life. That is where the problem started as only Arjuna's problem, whether I should fight or not fight. But it became a solution for all generations, for infinite time, because the fundamentals are same. The death, the sorrow, the problems are experienced because of ignorance. Knowledge can solve it. So the solution for Arjuna becomes the solution for all. Right? So there are 18 chapters. First 6 chapters talks about Arjuna basically. That's called Twampada, the individual. The next 6 chapters talks about God, Tatpada. The last 6 chapters talks the connection between them, Asi, Tattvam-asi. First 6 chapters Karma Yoga, next 6 chapters Bhakti Yoga, the last 6 chapters Jnana Yoga. Right. So Arjuna, who's such a great warrior, whom Shiva could not defeat. They both fought at one time, but nobody won, nobody lost. right? And he won war for Indra, and Indra shared his throne for him. Such a mighty person now says, I am not able to hold my bow, like the number one brilliant student says, I am not able to hold my pen to write the exam. Exam fever, some people get it. Exam fever. That was the state of Arjuna. Finally, he says, Krishna, now I am ready. Tell me what to do, I will do. So in 1 hour, Krishna changed. Why? Through knowledge. Right knowledge, the despondent Arjuna becomes the victorious Arjuna, Vijaya. He became Vijaya through knowledge. That's our life. Either you sink through despondency or you become victorious, depends upon the knowledge that you get, right? And therefore, the first chapter talks about Arjuna's despondency. Many people say this is not important. They are sadly wrong, because it is diagnosis that is important in treatment. Once the disease is diagnosed, you can go to the pharmacist and ask a medicine, he will give you. It is diagnosis that is most important, not the medicine. You take a wrong medicine, you will die. So the first chapter is the diagnosis, how you come to this miserable state. How you come to this miserable state. It's a diagnosis of the disease. And it should start for anybody in Vedanta. They're getting fed up with the world. They see the best in this world cannot give me peace. I don't want this. I want something different. Unless you come to that, you will not become a seeker. You have to become frustrated with the world. Frustration, despondency is the first step in spiritual evolution. Therefore, first chapter is as important as other chapters. Though, therefore, even though it is Vishada, despondency, it's also called a yoga, Vishada yoga. And all our scriptures are in the form of dialogues. Puranas, Itihasas, Vedas, Upanishads, Gita, all are dialogue between the teacher and the student. Student had the question. Arjuna himself questions Krishna, how am I to accept your love? You said you are taught to son. You are born to Devaki before my eyes. How can I accept? Arjuna questions. Because of the freedom to question. In Hinduism, there are no fanatics because you can question the teacher. So all our scriptures are in the form of dialogues. So the dialogue starts with Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra, Rashtra matter, kingdom matter. Dhruta firm, who holds firmly to matter as truth. And therefore he cannot see the truth, born blind to truth. He is that passionate mind. Intellect is always feminine, the guiding factor. Man is restless. Sri Shastra has put the ladies at the higher pedestal. Intellect is feminine. Buddhi is feminine. Strilinga. Manaha is masculine. Pumlinga. Right? This fellow is agitated, selfish, greedy. Dhritarashtra firmly holding to matter. He's so agitated, so restless, so firm. Even the intellect is wise. Wife is wise. She is not able to do anything with him. So she is as good as blinded herself. Between the blind mind and intellect, what are born are all negative qualities. Duryodhana, Dushashana, Dushala, all do. Do means bad. Right? So Dhritarashtra, it taught dialogue with Sanjaya. Sanjaya, one who has conquered the senses. Sanjaya. That's how you start your spiritual journey. One who is up to now holding to matter firmly for his security, tries to seek a solution through the Buddhi, charioteer. Sanjaya is the charioteer of Dhritarashtra. Krishna is the chariot of Arjuna, charioteer of Arjuna. Tries to seek. But his passion is so strong, nothing goes to his head. Sanjaya says exactly what Krishna said to Arjuna. Arjuna got the message, Dhritarashtra will never get the message. Because truth is the same, teacher is the same type. But one's passion is so blind, he is not ready to words of wisdom. Three people listened to Krishna's message, Arjuna, Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya. Sanjaya was a man of knowledge. Dhritarashtra refused to change. Arjuna changed. Arjuna changed. So all of us, doesn't matter where we are, whether we are a Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya, or an Arjuna, we can always elevate ourselves to be a good student, surrendering ourselves to the intellect. Krishna is the intellect charioteer. The individual, the ego, Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. And Krishna says, this is the crux of all Gita. When you see any problem from the ego standpoint, you will collapse. When you see the problem from totality, you will find every problem has a solution and a gift. Arjuna first saw the problem as an individual. Then, on guidance of Krishna, he saw the problem in a greater dimension, totality, and fought the war for the totality. When you fight the battle of life with the ego, you will collapse. When you fight the battle with aligning yourself with the totality, you become victorious. Right? This is the essence of Gita. First chapter also I have given the gist, but I will go through the words of the first chapter also, because there are some lovely Sanskrit expressions there. The way in which they said beautiful slokas are there. Next class, Wednesday, I will go through the text, no more introductions. Right? So next Wednesday, I start the text. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.